All right, and here we go for a Wednesday. Good afternoon to you, and welcome to the Schilling Show once again every day. Weekdays from 1 to 2 p.m. we are here, and so glad you're with us. And, of course, don't forget the Saturday special from 6 to 9, Saturday mornings, where we really tear it up. 220-2349 is the 24-hour voicemail line. That is a new number, 220-2349, if you can't call in now. And we know that many of you are listening from work, and you are listening under the threat of being fired if caught, especially those of you in Charlottesville City Hall. But we're glad that you're there, so if you want to call us later, 220-2349. Rob S. at WINA.com, and this is where the news is made, and we are proud to be monitored daily by PHA, Impact, Albemarle County, the Charlottesville Albemarle Regional Airport, the Charlottesville City Hall Department of Disinformation, the Chinese Embassy, David Slutsky, the Charlottesville Parking Center, and now, today, the Oklahoma Attorney General, and we will tell you why that is in just a few moments. But we're being monitored nationwide now, including internationally. All right, I want to remind you that special event coming up this evening, the Albemarle Truth and Taxation Alliance is hosting a free pizza and root beer reception in the Lane Auditorium lobby. That's at the county office building tonight from 5 to 6 p.m. The Schilling Show, we will be there tonight broadcasting some live hits during the 5 to 6 p.m. hour of Coy Barefoot's show, Charlottesville Right Now. So we invite you to come down by virtue of your membership in my audience. You are invited to attend. Please come and enjoy the food, the free food, I should say, and show your support for this most important cause, that is truth in taxation in Albemarle County. And perhaps we'll even get an answer to this question. We're still looking for him. It has been over a month since we've sent him an email, actually 3 emails, and never heard back from him. That is your elected official, and I guess he's as unresponsive here on the Schilling Show as he is to many of his constituents. But we'll look for him tonight. Want to let you know also that upcoming tomorrow we have a terrific show and you do not want to miss it. You may have heard that your local schools are planning on dumping a lot of your dollars into the International Baccalaureate program, but do you know what it teaches? Tomorrow we're going to have Brian Wheeler here from Albemarle County Schools, who seem to be moving forward with the IB program, and along with IB critic Alan Quist, who's concerned about IB. We'll have a chance to go through the program in its entirety, find out what IB is and whether or not you think this is a good idea. And I do want to mention that there was a horrible lack of response from both city and county school boards. I'm grateful to Brian Wheeler for responding, but none of the other school board members even acknowledged the fact that I had sent an email to each of them individually. And in the city, it was even worse, where we had one respondent. That was Leah Purrier, who is not the chair of the city school board, but she wrote back to me and said she couldn't make it. But I want to say, where is Kathy Galvin, Alvin Edwards, Ned Mickey, Colette Blunt, Lizelle Duggar, and Juan Diego Wade? What are you doing on our taxpayer dollars? You are paid to perform your work and to be responsive to media requests, and we are very disappointed in the fact that you chose not to respond. But we will continue to remind the public of that. All right, News Radio 1070 WINA, it is 1:11. We have a terrific show for you today, and as I've had a chance to talk with our guest, Paul Jacob, I've been very excited about the things that he is working on, and he's going to share with you today. He is the president of Citizens in Charge. That sounds like a great organization just by the name, and also a senior advisor at the Samuel Adams Alliance. And Paul Jacob, welcome to the Schilling Show.
Rob, thanks very much.
Hey, I was just, there's so many things that we have to talk about today, but I want to mention this at least a couple times during the hour because you're here in town today for a very special event this evening. Would you please tell us about that?
Well, I'm going to be speaking tonight at 7:30 p.m. at Clausen Hall at the University of Virginia. And a group called Students for Liberty has sponsored the event, and I'm looking forward to talking to people. And come. There'll be plenty of time to ask questions and have a dialogue.
Now, I just want to clarify the location because I have Cabell Hall, room 222.
I just remembered I didn't bring it in. I was doing it from memory.
Okay,
you're right. You're right. I'm wrong.
That's okay.
This is the first time a guest has probably ever said that. You're right. I'm wrong.
That's right. We just want to make sure after people hear this show today that they can check this out tonight. Again, 7:30 in room 222 of Cabell Hall. It is free and open to the public, sponsored by Students for Individual Liberty at the University of Virginia, and what a fantastic group and what an important topic. So let's start out for the introductory segment here to tell us a little bit how you became involved in this topic of government accountability and individual freedom issues, because obviously these are very dear to your heart. How did it start with you?
Well, really, the issue that I kind of cut my teeth on was term limits. I got involved with a group, U.S. Term Limits. We believed that it made sense for people in public office to stay for a short period of time, to do the business that they came to the office to do, and then to return to live under the laws they make. And it's something that the American people support, something really that's been supported throughout our history. It just makes sense to break up power, to give more people a chance to run for office and serve in office. You know, we have some districts in this country, for instance, in Michigan, there's a district where John Dingell took over from his father. His father had that district in 1925, and so since 1925, either John Dingell or his father has held that seat. So you don't have a living soul who could ever say, hey, my experience in Congress was thus and so. We have too many districts in this country that are that way. And of course we need term limits at the local and state level too. We've had a lot of people who've served for decades and decades, and it means that other people don't get a chance to be in office. And sometimes one person, even if they represent 51% of the vote, and of course we've had lots of presidents elected with less than 50% of the vote, maybe they represent those folks, but they don't represent everybody. So, you know, taking turns, you know, we teach our kids after they've been at the playground, you know, let somebody else get on the swings for a chance. We ought to do the same thing in politics, and it's something the American people very much support, but the folks who are supposed to be our servants have fought it kicking and screaming, blocked it at every turn, and it's where I came to realize how critical the citizen initiative process is. Many states, 24 states, unfortunately Virginia is not one of them, but 24 states and really most cities and counties throughout the country have a process where citizens can collect signatures and put a measure on the ballot for the voters to decide. And our name, Citizens in Charge, really says it all. We think the voters ought to make these decisions. We think that, you know, we love representative government. Most voters are busy. We don't have time to make every decision that government needs to make. But when government doesn't respond, when they don't do what needs to be done, or they do things that the public disagrees with, we need a process where citizens can go to their neighbors, collect enough signatures, enough support to put it on the ballot, and let the voters decide.
Boy, I agree with you on that, and it's certainly a topic that's near to my heart. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. News Radio 1070 WINA, it is 1:15 here on The Schilling Show. 977-1070 is the phone number if you have a question or comment for our guest, Paul Jacob, who is the president of Citizens in Charge and the senior advisor at the Samuel Adams Alliance. Many of our listeners, Paul, listen to the program and also have a computer in front of them. Can you give them a website while we go to the break if they want to look up more about you?
Yes, we'll get into this more later,
Sure.
but they can go to freepauljacob.com.
All right.
freepauljacob.com, which talks about some of my trials and tribulations in Oklahoma. There's also a website, ballotpedia.org. Ballotpedia that has a ton of information about ballot initiatives, and Citizens in Charge has a website, citizensincharge.org.
All right, so they're going to have something to do for the next few minutes. It's 1:16 here on The Schilling Show. We will be right back with more of Paul Jacob right after this.